Hey y'all, we're back out in the garage. A couple of days of working on the go-kart. It's quitting time here on the 23rd, Thursday of June. We got the little John MacArthur on the radio and a little go-kart work going on here in the garage. And got the seat back in. It got away from me a little bit, I'll be honest. I thought that was going to be a lot easier than it was. But this is 1/8" aluminum and it's T6. Could I have annealed it a little bit? Yeah, sure, but I'm a big guy, and I'm going to be using this aluminum is what's going to hold me in place. So I did the best I could, and when it got away from me a little bit, I kind of put it in the vise and tried to force it to do things that it didn't want to do as I was forming it on here. I had this piece of wood clamped on either side with the aluminum this way, and was just hammering it and trying to roll it around, moving it out, and it was going good. It went good here, and then it just kind of stopped working, and I couldn't get enough weight on it. I couldn't clamp it in the middle and still hit it, and that's what was happening. Was the aluminum was rising. I even took the toolbox off and set the toolbox right on top of it, trying to give myself a little extra oomph or something on it, but it didn't work. But it ends up, we get it in the car. It's sitting there. It looks just like the cardboard did, right? We're pretty happy with that. The chain guard or the belt guard is mounted. We have to get a piece of something behind it yet to take up this room. Otherwise, the harmonics and the vibration will just bust that thing right back off. But it is bolted right on. We got a good 3/16 to a 1/2 inch between the end of the shaft and the aluminum. So if it, that's another reason why we want to block that up. We got some stuff from our buddy Chuck a while back, this acetal or whatever, this black plastic. Let me dig it out real quick. Big chunk of this stuff, and you can machine it, you can drill it, you can tap it. It's as you can see, it's called acetal. I think if we run this over to Richie's place and we run it through the bandsaw, and then we can run it on the belt sander and get it to the right thickness, we could drill and tap, right? We could use some little bevel-headed bolts like these. A couple of these, four of those, and just drill and tap into that thing. Put a little epoxy on the back of it just in case, right? Glue, bond, and bolt it on. We just need a little piece here just to keep it from doing this here, right? Just something to take up that space and separate the burning heat of the motor from transferring into the aluminum, right? Because aluminum's the heat sink. We all know that. So if this thing just leaned up against there, it would get hotter than blue blazes, and we don't want that. So things are starting to come together. As you see, I had to take the floor tray off, stand it up on end to remove the other piece of aluminum that was in there. That was a trip. I did that by myself. Yeah, that was a trip. So I got it done. Got it back up here all by myself. We got the new wheels we bought at Mid-Ohio with the 2.5 inch back space on there, and you can already see it's inside this Nerf bar. The width of it, this one, well, looks like it's kind of even with the Nerf bar, but it's not sticking out like it was. So I bet you we throw the nose on right now, and it'll all line up. So we're making progress. We're making progress. We got another week. The rest of this week. Today's Thursday, so we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all next week, and the next weekend, and then it's go time. I mean, we really got to be. A week from today, we need to have this thing as done's going to be, right? Really, with nothing left to do but put the gauge on and run the leads and stuff. We're going to have to do a little welding. We're going to have to put an exhaust bung in here for exhaust temp. But other than that, I mean, I think pretty much all the welding on this thing is done. We don't have to weld anything else. We have the bar coming from Ed, our buddy Ed. Remember I told you about the pinch clamps, right? Like we used here. You got these different little doodads that go on the top, U-shaped pieces. I showed you the aluminum tubes that they make to go with these things, like this one right here. What we're going to do is copy this, because these go with our red bits for our other clamps. So we don't want to steal those. And instead of buying new black ones, we're going to make them out of steel, right? We're just going to have Rich weld this on, weld her around. We'll spray bomb those black, and they'll go on here. Right? Sorry about the camera. It's been a long day. So those will go on there, and it's 3/4 on the inside. Unlike our aluminum bits that are made for this, those are metric. So I think they're like 22 millimeter or something. So we've got something that's going to be good and tight. We called our buddy Ed. We put these on the cart, on the chassis, and even marked where they go. One here, one here. Put a piece of flat stock across it. I think it was a piece of angle iron actually over there to make sure the tops of them were level. And then we measured center to center of the bolt holes. And we got it, which is basically going to be center line of each frame rail. But we are, as you can see, we are in a little angle because our body was angled, right? So we got it exactly right. Called our buddy Ed McGlone down at Jaguar Karts, and he called me yesterday, and the tube is on, the piece of tubing is on the way. So it'll be a U-shaped with some radiuses, probably a little tighter than this, I'm hoping, but similar to that, and with extra long legs. And we'll cut the legs down to get it to height right. After this is all done and bolted together, we get those clamped on. Then it'll just be a matter of dropping it in. If it doesn't fit exactly right, it's not that big a deal because we can saw cut it in the middle and drop it into each one of these pieces. And then, you know, if it's too wide, piece of cake, we can just take a little out, put a piece of solid stock, 5/8 steering shaft stock in the middle and weld it up. Not a big deal. If it's too short, well, we can do the same thing as long as it's not too short. We can weld it up, right, with that solid stock on the inside. Plug weld, and then weld it all together. But Ed, I mean, you saw the front bumper that he did for me for the F-125. I gave him dimensions, even not just center to center, side to side, and length, but also they had a kick that went down and bolted onto the chassis, and I gave him those degrees in angles and degrees, and the thing dropped right on my cart. Literally, I didn't have to do anything. I literally had to do nothing. So Ed's the man. He's got a CNC tube bender. So he tells the machine, if you take good, accurate dimensional measurements, you won't be wrong. So we're pretty excited about what's coming here. We'll weld a couple tabs to it. What we're cutting off in 3/4 inch tubing off the legs for the correct height, we'll weld on the top of the tube to mount our headrest, right? And then easy peasy, bing, bing, bang, boom. We'll probably take the old 1/2 inch foam or 3/4 inch foam that we bought from Amazon, and more than likely, we may spray glue it down. I don't know. When we did that with the old vintage cart, it really made a mess when we peeled it back off. So maybe we just lay it down in there for a test at Grattan. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But this is really the only piece we've got left to work on. This one's done. That's all bolted in and done. This is bolted in and done, other than the hoop for the back and getting something going for this here. So I really want to lay in it. You know, once we could probably do it now, I suppose, but once we get things done back here, we're going to want to lay in it to make sure we know what we're doing with the headrest, and to make sure that this is at the right width and fore and aft, and we may even have to carve it and change it a little bit. So we're not going to get too crazy into worrying about this thing just yet. But everything else is falling into place. I can see us getting this thing out to Grattan, at least for a Friday run it all day on Friday, if Dave will let us do that like we did last year. So that's ideally what we'd like to do. Then just kind of rest the rest of the weekend, because after Grattan, the secret project is here, and it is going to be on like Donkey Kong, which means you are going to get a lot of videos of me out in the yard and not seeing what's going on in here. So that's it for the 23rd. Happy Thursday, everybody. We're making progress. We're getting closer. I'm getting excited. I'm looking forward to taking this thing for a ride, man. Should be a lot of fun. Hang in there, y'all. We're praying for you. It'll get better.